Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students of class 2nd year. Here is Sajid Naseem, your botany teacher from Beria Foundation College, Nashero Road. How are you students? I hope you will be fine. Students, we started our chapter number 3, which was coordination and control in plants. Students, I have told you about plant hormones first. Now we are going to the second topic of this chapter, control in plant. In your book, plant hormone is given after this topic. I have taught you the plant hormone first. Now I am teaching this after that, so that you will be able to understand in a more better way. Students, as you know, plants are sessile. Sessile means plants can't move from one place to another place. They are fixed at the place. But they show response. They show movement. They show movement. Which kind of movement plant shows? Plant shows response. Response to stimuli. What is stimuli? Stimuli is any external or internal change in the environment is called the stimuli. Plants show response to the stimuli. Understand? Two types of response plant shows. Number one is the growth. Number two, movement. As a response of stimuli, growth of plant can be increased or it can be decreased. And second is the movement. Plants show the different kinds of movement, curvature movements or other kinds of movement. This topic we have read in my previous chapter, plant movement. There are two types of plant movement, autonomic and paratonic movements. You have studied before that autonomic movements are due to internal stimuli mostly, and paratonic movement are those movements which are due to external stimuli. Then we have also learned the two types of autonomic and paratonic movements. We have also learned the types of the paratonic movement or induced movement, which are the tropic movements and nastic movement. Do you remember? What was the difference between the tropic movement and nastic movements? Tropic movements are those movements which have a specific direction. Directional movements are the tropic movements and nastic movements are non-directional. Do you remember? Nastic movements don't have any direction. Two types of movement, tropic movement and nastic movement. Tropic movements have a direction and nastic movement don't have a direction. Now come to the biological clock. What is the biological clock? So that plants and animals have a special mechanism to measure the passage of time, and they regulate their metabolic activities according to that time. This clock is called the biological clock. It is internal clock of the plants and animals. Take the example. For example, the leaflets of some plants have been observed for many years. They bend at the night time and they open at the daytime. But if plant is kept continuously in the dark, the leaflets will open after every 12 hours. They will not depend upon the light. So which factor is affecting them? Is it temperature? Students, there are many factors: light, temperature, or internal stimuli which can stimulate the growth. So it's internal system or internal clock which can stimulate the growth or which can maintain the metabolic activity. This is called the biological clock. And the activities which take place after a specific time, for example after every 24 hours, these are called the circadian activities or rhythmic activities. Activities which take place due to the internal stimuli are also known as endogenous activities. What is photoperiodism? As the name is indicating, photo means light, periodism means time duration. Photo means light, periodism means time duration. Photoperiodism is a phenomena in which we study effect of plant or response of plant to the day length or light duration is called the photoperiodism. On the basis of photoperiodism, we divide plants into three types: long day plants, short day plants, and third one is day neutral plants. Okay. So mostly which part of plant respond to the photoperiodism? It is flowering in plants. Flowering in plant depend upon the photoperiodism. Students, you have observed the day length in the summer and winter. You know day length is more than in summer as compared to in winter. The plants show response to the day length. This response is known as photoperiodism. And on the base of photoperiodism, we divide in plant into long day plant, short day plant, and day neutral plant. That plants may have many environmental stress conditions, and plants respond against these conditions. They try to maintain their activities, they try to survive during the distress condition. They have internal system which try to survive. So plants response to environmental stress may be water shortage. These are the stress which plant may handle: water shortage, less oxygen, high salt concentration in the soil, high temperature, low temperature, or herbivory. Let's discuss each one by one. Water shortage is a condition in which the water content becomes very less in the soil. How plant overcome this problem? Plant close its stomata and preserve water. Now if stomata is closed, how gaseous exchange will take place? Plant will exchange the gases by other means like from epidermis or other parts. The closing of stomata stimulates the production of a hormone which is abscisic acid. We have learned about this hormone. This is the growth inhibitor which inhibits growth. How it inhibits growth? By producing dormancy or by closing stomata. So this abscisic acid will enhance or will stimulate the closing of stomata, and this hormone will keep active until the water shortage is reduced. Number 2, less oxygen. In marshy areas or much watery areas, root may face the stress of less oxygen or shortage of oxygen. So what is the adaptation of plant to this condition? Plant produce aerial root which absorb oxygen from the soil, so from the air. Plant may have aerial tubes which absorb the oxygen from the air. In the above topic, water shortage, one more adaptation which plants may have, that is deep root system. Plant develop very deep roots which absorb the underground water. Okay. Now high salt concentration in the soil. Normal plants can't survive in the high salt concentration in the soil, but they are halophytes, special plants which can survive in such conditions. Halophytes are those plants which can survive in the high salt concentration in the soil. These plants have salt glands on their body which expel out extra water and absorb only water. Which expel out extra salt and absorb only water. And high temperature. What plants do at high temperature? At high temperature, plant may face very much damage because enzymes can be activated properly or can do much better work at normal temperature up to 37 degrees centigrade. Above 40 degrees centigrade, plants enzymes start become denatured. As a result of denaturing of enzymes, plant may be died. So what plant do to prevent this condition? First of all, rate of transpiration increases. Plant increases rate of transpiration. Now what is transpiration? It is process of evaporation from the surface of the leaf. We all know evaporation produces cooling, so transpiration produces a cooling effect for plants. Second adaptation which plants have to overcome the high temperature, there are produced a heat shock proteins which prevent enzymes from getting denatured. What plants do to overcome the stress of low temperature or cold temperature? Cold temperature is dangerous for plasma membrane because plasma membrane is made up of lipid and protein. Lipid may be crystallized. Lipid can be crystallized at the low temperature. So, plant produce special fructose in low condition which prevent the lipid from getting crystallized, but the wall of the cell can be crystallized. Now herbivory, grazing. Herbivory is also called the grazing. Grazing of animals is called the herbivory. Herbivory is good for plant but up to a specific level. Too much herbivory can damage the plant. Plants overcome this problem by producing spines on its surface or distasteful chemicals or toxic chemicals in itself. You understand? Now you have to read the topic very carefully and make your notes. Send me your notes. Allah Hafiz.